Welcome to Crackers and Milk. This is your host, David. I'm joined by Jake and Mike for our podcast of Crackers and Milk while talking about while we are...
While we're sleeping.
While we were sleeping. While you were sleeping.
And while you were sleeping.
Yes, while you were sleeping.
1995.
95 with Sandra Bullock and Bill Pullman as the main people.
All right.
And Jake has our synopsis.
Lonely transit worker Lucy Eleanor Moderates pulls her longtime crush Peter from the path of an oncoming train. At the hospital, doctors report that he's in a coma, and a misplaced comment from Lucy causes Peter's family to assume that she is his fiancée. When Lucy doesn't correct them, they take her into their home in confidence. Things get even more complicated when she finds herself falling for Peter's sheepish brother, Jack. Bum, bum, bum.
Okay, what spoke to you about this movie, Jake, or what? It's your movie. Why'd you put this one on your list?
So, the first time I saw this, I was on a date with a girl from high school. She will remain nameless.
Nice.
But, so, it was first time I'd ever seen it. It was funny. Reminds me of then.
Yeah.
And it's just a good romantic comedy.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't really have more specific reasons than that for putting it on my list, other than that it's a good romantic comedy.
Yeah.
No, that's
good.
Those are good reasons to put on the list of a romantic comedy podcast.
I'm good with that.
So yeah. What did you guys like about the chemistry, character development of these characters, of Sandra Bullock, of Bill Pullman, the other people?
She is so cute in this movie.
Okay.
So cute.
Okay, since she's so cute, just want to go with that. Is it believable that she works at that transit box?
Yes. Yes, it does.
For me, I'm like, that much cuteness should not be working there. She should have another job. I mean, okay, sure, doesn't go with the plot of the movie, but still.
That's the script, Mike.
Yeah, I know. For me, when we say, is it believable? To me, it's not believable.
At the same time, she's cute, but like they ugly her up enough to it's believable. Maybe believable
I
that
can see
she
what they're going for,
work there.
But yeah, for me,
But yeah.
You wanted her to succeed.
yeah. I wanted her to get out of the toll booth.
Yeah.
Right.
And she does.
And she does, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole payoff of the movie.
But I still don't believe she should have started in a toll booth. That's me.
I know, but
Apparently, you guys think she should be in the toll booth.
But you look at, I don't know.
I'm just saying, to me, it's not believable that woman would work at a toll booth.
I could see that.
So she's an only child she's an orphan.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I bet she probably didn't go to college.
Well, she was going to college. She explains that, and then her dad got sick,
And so
she dropped out.
And so
they went to New York so that he could go to the
Chicago.
For the experimental hospital.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so she got a job to start paying for that.
Right.
And she just never left.
Yep.
Which I could see, because like you start a place and you enjoy working there, and then you just
familiarity.
Just keep going.
Yeah. Yes, I thought she had very good chemistry with Bill Pullman.
Yeah, like it took a long time, because like when that question is asked, I was like, I have to wait until I see Bill Pullman come in, because he doesn't come in for a while.
50 minutes.
Yeah.
That's when he shows up. So yeah, we don't see him for 50 minutes.
Was he doing
Independence
Day at the same time?
And 96 was Independence Day, I think.
96 was.
Oh, so this is 95?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it looks like him. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
it's the president.
And then what did you guys think of with Peter Gallagher coming in, and like was that like a believable thing? Was that like, oh man, this is pretty cool? That sort of thing.
I can totally understand that.
Yeah.
seeing somebody every day
Yeah.
and them not noticing you, but you notice them,
Yep.
Yeah.
and fantasizing,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yep.
Just kind of like other movies that we've talked about, which are kind of, it seems like romantic comedy staples with 27 Dresses, My Best Friend's Wedding, all these other ones that, this person is wonderful, this person is great, but then you really get to know them and it's like,
Yeah.
it doesn't work. The chemistry is off. It's with, like with Bill Pullman, it's a better chemistry.
Is it a
Bill
better
Pullman.
chemistry because Peter's in a coma? I mean, yes, she gets to know who he is, right?
Yeah.
Through his family. He's kind of
And-
a jerk
And Peter's apartment just tells you everything you need to know about him.
right when you go into that
And those
Every picture that's
is of him.
is of him.
Yep.
Of
and
himself.
and those pictures of him in his wallet
Yeah.
and all that stuff. Oh yeah. Like very selfish, where his family, they didn't know him. He's been gone for so long.
Yeah.
And what's nice is she realizes when she first steps into his apartment, whoa, look at this view,
Yeah.
I could have it all if it works out, right?
Yeah.
But that's not love. It's not
No.
the material
No.
things, right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
At least it shouldn't be.
Right.
What are some of your like favorite parts and that sort of thing?
Pretty much anything with Joe Jr.
Good old Joe.
Joe Jr.
I
is very
slipped
funny.
and my foot went into your shoe.
Yeah, what was that?
She is the best looking woman in this whole building. Hey, well, you're the best looking woman
on the third floor.
Oh, Joe.
Yeah. Oh, Joe.
Oh, one of my favorite parts is at the beginning. I want to read the thing where it was Lucy is saying this. Life doesn't always turn out how you planned. That's what her dad said.
Yeah.
Realized at the time he was talking about my life. But that never stopped us from taking our adventures together. He would pack our sometimes working car, and he would tell me amazing stories about strange and exotic lands as we head off to exciting destinations like Milwaukee. It's amazing how exotic Wisconsin isn't.
So great.
I thought that was funny because
love
I
it.
served my mission.
Oh, really?
Right? Yeah. So it made me laugh a little bit more. I'm like, yep.
Oh, I love it.
Uh-huh. Wisconsin isn't exotic, but it's nice.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite parts too. And I thought of it in the daddy-daughter way. Like, I want to impress my daughter. And that's what he's just doing. He's like, well, let's take you on a road trip.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, he made it sound exotic, but we were just going to another state.
Yeah.
And I love that part when she says,
Well,
it isn't Wisconsin. So great.
anyways,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good preface to the movie, right? Her dad is saying that life doesn't turn out the way you plan it.
Yeah.
And the whole toll booth, she probably didn't plan on being in
No.
the toll
Oh,
booth.
no.
exactly.
Right. And
She wanted to finish school. It just didn't work
Just to
out.
get to it. Yeah.
But see, that's the thing too. Is as I've gone through school and that sort of thing, the timetable for school is 18 to 21 for sure most of the time.
No, I know.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That does not matter. So that should never stop anybody from ever doing it.
It shouldn't,
It shouldn't, but it does.
and that's probably not what was stopping her.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah, and you know what? Going back to another favorite part is Saul the Godfather. For me, he's such a good,
I like him.
amending
Yeah.
of the family and her and
exactly.
his wise godfatherness of Peter.
And he's like, I'll tell him. I'll tell
Oh,
him.
I love it. Yep.
And they're leaving the room, and you can see him through the window of the door, and he comes up. And she's like, "You didn't tell him."
I do like him as just an actor.
Yeah.
I've seen him in other things,
Yeah.
but he is that
He's
fatherly
oh.
type, and he's that mender, like you said. Like, he's a great actor for that. He was a great actor for that type of role.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was funny.
Very,
He
yeah.
was homey. He just
Yeah.
all these characters in that.
Oh, yeah.
He had so many characteristics in it.
Yes. The family dynamic of the Callahans
Yeah.
is awesome.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of the how am I Greek wedding.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
My
that
Big
kind of
Fat
family
Greek
dynamic.
Wedding.
My big
Yeah.
fat Greek
Yeah.
wedding. Thank you.
And did you know their little sister? She became an actress or more of an actress. She played on Man of the House with Tommy Lee Jones. Small thing. She didn't get any bigger than that. I think that was her biggest role.
Wow.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
I
So
don't
with
know.
the Callahans at the dinner table, I liked when the old men are talking amongst themselves and the grandma, and they're talking about off the wall subjects.
Yes.
How tall somebody is. They're like, oh yeah, he went to Cuba. And like, what are we talking about here?
Right.
And that's what makes that scene so believable because
Yeah.
we all have that, right?
Exactly.
Off the wall, you're like, wait,
And sometimes
what?
that's what conversations are, is just off the wall.
off the wall.
Like, it's not all the...
The grandma is hilarious.
Oh,
She's
yes.
great.
Let him tell it. I am letting him tell it. And then she continues to tell it.
Yeah.
Like she tells the entire engagement story.
Right.
So Lucy doesn't have to.
That's right. Yeah. Good. Great actors.
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect
Yes.
people for these. Yeah. It's
One of my favorite is when you wrote down one of the best lines of Grandma.
Oh, yeah.
Where it says, I like Mass better in Latin. It's nicer when you don't know what they're saying.
Yes.
She's a great lady. Is she the one that they say, "Oh, you want more? Do you want more drink?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm not taking any more drink." But I didn't say I wasn't taking any less.
Yes, that is her. When they're celebrating Christmas.
Oh yeah.
Because they didn't get to celebrate Christmas because this was a Christmas movie.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
This was
Yeah.
a Christmas music because the accident takes
Happened.
place on Christmas.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like that was the interesting part. That was one of the things that made you want to root for Sandra Bullock too. That Christmas scene where she hasn't had a Christmas present or she hasn't been surrounded by family.
Yep.
And she just they have a present.
They have a stocking on the there
Yeah.
for her too.
She just sits there and just looks at everybody, how happy they are, and how everything is so great and grand and all that stuff.
Because she hasn't had that in a long time.
Yeah, and that's why
Because her mom died when she was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like she doesn't remember her mom.
Right. Yeah.
and that's why you root for her more.
Exactly.
Like you want her to succeed. You want Peter to wake up and be okay with Lucy, or I'm not sure about that time, but definitely a little bit later, definitely the brother, Jack. It's like, oh, Jack, come on, be smart. She's a great girl, all this stuff,
Yeah.
you know? So you just root for her more because of that one scene that she made you believe that it's like, oh, this is so precious to me.
And Saul, you're a putz.
You're a putz. That's right.
and he pretty much talks the Peter into marrying her.
Yeah.
Because
Look.
that's how he's fixing it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love even at the end of that conversation, I'm a putz.
Take it from an old putz.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And then one of my favorite lines, you guys could share some of your favorite lines, but one of mine was, or a little thing was Lucy, where the nurse comes in, she's like, I'm not engaged. I never even spoken to him. What? Downstairs you said you were going to marry him. Lucy, oh geez, I was talking to myself. Next time you talk to yourself, tell yourself you're single and end the conversation. I thought that was just funny. It's like, yes, you don't want people to hear your conversation.
Just the way that it worked out, and she's only at the hospital because she was the one who saved him.
Yeah.
And she's infatuated with him, so she wants to know how he's doing. And
Oh,
the
yeah.
doctors are just stonewalling her.
Yeah.
And so-
Family.
I can totally understand in a moment of frustration saying something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was just kind of like funny
Yes.
of how that, where it was like, well, say yes, I was gonna marry him. I'm single, but I was gonna marry, like, you know,
Yes,
where
right.
there isn't the confusion. But if that wasn't there, then we
It
wouldn't
wouldn't have
get her
happened.
in there. We wouldn't get her and all that stuff.
Yeah, so when I like it when Peter, because it's Christmas Day. He's like the only one riding the train, and he comes because he's a workaholic.
Yeah.
He's going to work, and hi, Merry Christmas, and she's like, and he walks away. Nice coat. Merry Christmas to you too. You're beautiful. Will you marry me? I love you.
Yes.
All of these things I could have said, and I said,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That was your moment, and the moment passed.
yeah, I lost it there, honey. But just her facial, just that whole, what was I thinking?
And when she's dragging this Christmas tree up with the
Oh,
rope,
yes. That's so good.
and then how it falls, and Joe Sr.'s like, my insurance doesn't cover
Trees that go in the windows. Yeah, that Christmas tree part. $45 for a Christmas tree, and they don't deliver. You order $10 worth of chow mein for Mr. Wan's. They bring it to your door.
Oh man.
So yeah, there's great parts in this movie.
You referenced this earlier. That when they're leaving the hospital, and she's talking to Saul, saying, "When are you going to hand it? Saul, where have you been? What? I'm not allowed to go to the bathroom? Saul, I'm handling it. I will tell them. When? When? On my golden anniversary?"
Right. That's so great.
Oh.
So yeah, the movie just so good.
Yes.
Well, now that we talk about it, I retro her at the transit station because it builds all up to it. It makes
Yes.
you feel that you want her to succeed.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, it really does. I don't want her to be in that. That's like the worst job. Poor girl, but
Yeah.
now she's looking up in life, and we're gonna meet. She meets Jack, and
Yeah.
Jack's gonna call her bluff and is investigating, and
And it just never works out for him.
nope. And he's close though, man. I am freaking out.
He's always close.
Yeah.
But she guesses right on the stooge
Yeah.
and on the
On the cat at the apartment. Like, I'm thinking, okay, she's gonna feed the kitty, and then he's like, he doesn't have a cat. I'm like, oh crap, what are you gonna do now?
Yeah.
That cat comes around the corner.
Yeah.
Are you gonna answer the phone? No. And then it's for her, and he's like, dang it, I'm never gonna get her. And the Stooges, everyone likes him.
I like Shemp,
Yep.
the one who didn't last.
Yeah. And then the way she proves that she knows who he is.
Because his buddy,
Yep,
his lawyer friend, is coming to see him.
Why does he have a pencil in his pocket?
Because
He's a lawyer. He always has to write something down. And like, how would that
How?
happen?
Oh, I don't know. Yep.
There's questions I have, but not relevant to the movie.
Okay, one other thing too, like just a question. Does anybody have questions about this movie?
No, it's
Thoughts?
pretty straightforward.
Deep thoughts?
I'm wondering why we didn't put it on our main list, because it is so good.
It's really good.
It is really good.
So this is the second movie with Sandra Bullock in it that should have been on our main list.
Yeah, you have The Proposal and this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll share my deep thought I wrote. Something that I have noticed watching these fall in love movies is that people fall in love when they do stuff together. Even stuff like moving furniture can be romantic. That's when Jack and her are moving the couch. And when I told my dad I was watching this for the podcast, he said, I love watching them fall in love with each other. And really, that's the whole movie, is them doing little things together.
Exactly.
And that's how we need to stay in love. You just do little things all the time together.
Yeah.
And that's I think that's why my dad likes it. He sees the little things because that's what my dad does. Is little things always with mom. So
Yeah.
that's my deep thought.
Oh.
But isn't it that, like, that small and simple are great things accomplished
Yeah.
with, staying in love, falling in love, and just making sure your love continues to grow. It's like
Exactly.
these small little things that you do together that there's no big consequence, but it helps.
Yeah.
It keeps you that way. Like, I remember this little show that I watched. It's called Turning Point, and this guy in it, he gets all these random people together because they helped him at a turning point in his life. They were only in his life for like 30 seconds, 40 seconds each, but he saw something. He saw this one couple where, they were madly in love and all this stuff, and they dropped a seashell, and he kept the seashell, gave it back to the guy and said, "Hey, this is why I kept it," and all this stuff. And he looked to him as an example. And the guy in the film was going through a divorce, and he's like, looks at the shell and is like, "I'm going to give this another shot." And so it's just like those little things that matter, that build up, that help strengthen that relationship, it seems, more than anything else to do with love. Not the big grand gestures, but just these small ones.
I'd like to thank you for listening to Deep Thoughts with Dave and Mike.
Right. So,
Well, yeah.
but with that, I mean, Jack, right? They're falling in love, and then Peter's gonna wake up,
And Peter does wake up.
and they're all standing in the room together, and Sandra is looking at the clock like, "Holy crap, get me out of here!
Yeah.
This is it." But Saul has talked to Peter, and so Peter is planning
Yeah.
it's gonna happen. He's gonna propose to her.
And then the wedding.
The wedding, yep.
And before the priest even gets to anything, I object.
Which is a sigh of relief for me. I'm like, "Oh, thank you."
Yes. And then Jack's like, I'm there too.
I object also. And then what's her face comes running in.
Ashley Madison Bacon.
Yeah. Which is his actual
Real
fiance.
Yeah.
Who's married
To
another man.
another man. Yep. Who comes in following, right?
Because she comes in and objects, and he's following her and says, "And I object to your objection."
Right.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
You didn't notice that?
I didn't notice that.
Yeah. That wedding is one of the funniest parts.
And I love how she's so worried about Grandma. "Grandma, are you okay?" Like, "Yeah, you're not having a heart attack?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Yeah, this is great."
Because that's why she kept going
Yep.
for so long, is she didn't want to give Grandma a heart attack.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they set that up right in the first meeting
Yeah.
Yeah, because
that she's had for episodes. They weren't attacks, they were episodes. There's nothing wrong with her hearing, though.
That's right.
Yes, this is a very good movie.
Yeah.
It can lead to deep thoughts.
Yeah.
Which, I tend to have. I always tend to have. One question, I know this isn't really big, but tinsel. Why was that a thing?
Still
Is
a
that
thing?
is it because of because it's, instead of lights and candles and all that stuff, it gives the sparkle of a Christmas tree?
So when we did tinsel, it was on a strand.
Yeah.
What she was doing was throwing individual things
like
onto
the
a tree.
old time.
Yeah. I don't know. Probably because she was poor and couldn't afford anything else.
I could see that.
But one of the best parts, because we've all had this conversation in church. There is something I'd like to talk to you about. Talk about it later, okay? Talk about it now. He can't kill you in church.
That's right.
And then the person behind him
Yep.
getting mad.
He's like, "Hey, can you quiet down over there?" And he turns around. Who do you think you are, the Pope?
Yeah. Exactly.
That's a great scene.
It is.
Yeah.
That one is so funny.
But it does end up, Jack does go to his dad. I like
Yeah.
that. And says, "Hey, Dad, this is
Yeah,
not the business for me. Oh yeah, why didn't you tell me? I could have sold it to so and so,
Yeah.
made a fortune, and taken your mom on a cruise.
Yeah.
So you want to make rocking chairs? That's fine.
Rocking chairs, which by the way Julia loves. Or
Yeah.
why am I saying Julia? Is that her? Yeah, that's her. Oh my gosh,
It's Lucy.
Lucy. Yeah, Lucy.
Okay, recommendations.
5.
5.
2 to 3.
Wow.
This is like, I think I've watched this movie once or twice before.
That's me. Once or
And
twice.
so I would probably say 5, but I don't know.
Once before.
Once before. Wow.
Wow.
On that date.
All right.
It is good, and I would like to say I don't understand why this proposal wasn't, and even the wedding singer,
Even the wedding singer.
why that wasn't on our list. But at the same time, we probably hadn't watched the wedding singer and this for so long that it's like I can kind of understand why it wasn't.
Like, for instance, I want to go home and watch while you were sleeping again.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
because I enjoyed it that much.
Yeah. It's one of the only romantic comedies that Olivia likes, so
There you
I
go.
need, I need to suggest it more. Anyways. Okay.
Okay.
Please rate, subscribe, leave a comment. We are on most all podcasting formats, and we are on YouTube, so please give us a listen and a watch, and have a great day.
Peace.